And
Hello.
off episode
Hello.
61, Yanko.
61. We passed over 60 and now we're at episode 61. Hey everyone, I'm Yanko and I'm here with my co-host Kerri Lewis, my wonderful co-host.
And
So good to
Skippy.
see you and so good to have you on the show and so exciting to vibe with you and to see where this episode is going to take us. It's so exciting. How are you doing today?
Yo, today's been a weird day. It's been some ups and downs. My energy's been fun. However, I will say, um, I've grounded into love, so that's always awesome. And it's always a pleasure to be here with you and all the amazing listening audience.
Oh,
So,
thank you. Thank you. All right. It's just, I don't know. But energy wise, it's being crazy like that. Not only with you, it's being crazy with me too. It's up and down the entire week. So I don't know. We'll
yeah,
see. We'll
yeah.
see where it goes.
I'll be curious. Well, you know more about all of the astrological alignment, whatever. I don't really get into the weeds about that, but I will say, I'm gonna just put this out there for our listening audience. You see this lovely bag. Well, over the course of many years, I practice what I preach, and I've created. Let me just show you this many reminders. So when I am in an energy that doesn't serve me or an old pattern of belief that gets me stuck in that low vibrating ick stick feeling, I literally just read a card and that's super helpful. But here's the thing. We have a beautiful guest jumping on, and I am super excited because she's always welcome. I keep telling her to come join the party. Radaviv.
Take it
Hello.
away.
I am finally here. I was locked out and I thought, how the hell do I put a password? I don't want to put a password. So anyway, I'm
I'm
back.
so excited.
I am
I'm
happy to
so excited. You don't often
I'm
see me
happy to be
singing on the
here.
show.
I know we're
Yes.
happy. We're happy you're here. And with that, I'm gonna dive right in because this is on my mind, and I'm curious to get your thoughts on this because both of you do deep inner work. I sent a quote to my group that I'm part of on WhatsApp, and my dear friend Justin came back with his understanding. And he said he struggles with the word hope because if we have a belief, this unwavering trust, then hope is obsolete. And on one hand, I align with that, right? I'm like, yeah. However, having come through the dredge, muck, and mire of suffering, I'm like, well, how would one sustain the human experience without hope? And so I'm curious what each of you's thoughts are around this idea of hope leading to love.
Okay. When I say hope, I feel that I have not had whatever it is I'm asking for. It's
Mm.
out there. And so if it's about love, to say, I am love. I am love. It's not that I want to feel love because I had that personal experience. I was on uh, I was on an earth medicine. I was on an earth medicine, very right. And I looked around. My heart was so open, and I looked around. I just stood there, look around my house downstairs, and I thought, "Oh my God, so many things here has been given to me." And so my heart was open to this love. And then my higher self said, like a fit, you are feeling love, but I want you to know you are love.
Mhm.
It was like in my face. And that was an experience that I won't forget. And that's
Yeah.
the experience that I really want to share with that person or those persons, don't hope for anything because you're already that, especially if it's about love. Doesn't matter what's going on around you or with your relationship or with the world. Then you think, oh my God, everything is going into hell. What do they call it? Hell and handbasket. That's a new
Hell in a
word for me.
handbasket. Yeah, baby.
New word for me. Sit here, breathe slowly. No, my God, remember. Remember what I am. Just that. Remember, what am I? Who am I?
But this is where I vacillate. You have had that experience, right? Like you've shared with my listening audience in the past your, your inner child running down the airplane and different experiences. You have that experience. I have that similar experience. Like I have this fundamental understanding that everything is perfection. I am perfection. But I also remember what it was like to be in that deep-seated suffering of unconsciousness. Of and I feel that if I didn't have hope at that time, I could never have had the experience. I don't know that to help me experience that knowing, that understanding. Go ahead,
Oh,
Chanko.
I was gonna say you guys took it right up. Like it's 100%. So we forget who we are because we want to have this human experience. We come in and we become so dense that in our attention goes to a million different directions. Everything outside grabs our attention, and we go here, there, and the monkey mind develops. But the hope, it's a permission slip, kind of to allow yourself to remember who you are before you went so deep and so dense in that density. So it's not a bad thing. It's kind of like anything else in life. There's permission slips to like allow yourself to kind of sit down and remember who you are instead of just going. Does that make sense?
I really love that analogy that hope is a permission slip. I think that's beautiful. And I also think about forgiveness, right? So if you really break down Radiviv's understanding that we're all love, right? Which is true. That's truth. There's nothing that is beyond love. That's just the truth. Then forgiveness is an illusion too. But it is the closest illusion that will get you from this dense human experience to the experience of unconditional, like that unconditional oneness and love, right? It's another permission slip. It's like that continued surrender into which connects you with source energy, that limitless light. So I really love that analogy. I would be curious what you have to add, Radaviv.
all right. So, what I want to, my whole life has been experiences. God, man, because it's through our experiences that we really gain wisdom.
Boom. Yes.
So let me go from the bottom to the top.
All right, I love that.
Started from
Bottom.
the bottom, now we here.
Yes. So now quickly, I just say when I was 5 years old, and I was very introspective, and I still am very introspective. And I would sit and never forgot, I sit on a wall by myself and I ask, why am I here? I mean, it was desperate question. Why am I here? Why was I born? There was no one to ask. I knew that. So it went out into the mystery of life to unfold through my experiences. And
So
I
good.
got to the place where I got it through all of my own experiencing and wounding and all that. And I thought, not just me, we are here to remember, to remember. And why is it how we have to remember? What is it? Because the foundation at the bottom, taking it from the bottom, the foundation that we came in, we were pure essence. We're innocent. We're innocent, man. Look at the baby that's born. Takes you back to the essence of your soul. But here comes the conditioning and the program. And it's not anybody's fault because I think there's a point where I came to experience life and to serve in my own way. We all have it in our own way. So I had to go through the experiences of emotions and pain. 'Cause that's what my soul is here to do. But I had to, so there's a foundation. The original foundation is still there. But there was another foundation from the conditioning and the programming that we started to follow. We don't know anything without language. We were just aware of everything as ourselves, just aware. There's no words. I mean, it's so beautiful. And then they start to teach us no fault. And really no fault. But we get trapped in that and we start to believe that we are our biographical self. And that's where the beliefs start. And that's what's going on the planet now with pure chaos. Where the hell do we think it's coming from? It's not chaos is happening. Our beliefs and our thoughts and our mind is creating the fear uh, that is happening right now on the planet.
100%.
So, so the three of us here, we can just go right back and here and say,
That's
yeah,
right.
let's
And
take
we
a
don't have to say anything, and it'll be fine.
no, go back here and to know that the three of us here, we look different, but oh my God, there's a sameness in us that can never ever be changed. And that's the essence of our soul. That is this the divine spark. And that's why the book came about.
Yep.
Because of the memories, because of their messages. So I call myself, a messenger of inner peace. And I'm seriously feel since the book has come out, I seriously feel the depths of what we are and why we ought to remember. That's the greatest remembrance. Why we ought to remember. Because the messages, not just in my book, I'm not, talking about my book is the only thing, but to open the heart and remember. Because there are words in there that they told me that I have to open it to read it because it's a multidimensional frequency. And I am not going to say this is what they told me because I don't hold it. I have to read it. So,
It's so interesting. My dear friend, my best friend, Lindsay Height sent me a song the other day by some artist. And she was like, "Am I crazy to believe that this artist is describing her connection with God?" And I'm like, if that's the truth that unfolds within you, that's the truth. And I think we try to understand what is indescribable. It's known. There's no need to put it into a concept or a construct. You just know. And so I sent her back. I was like, if that's your truth, that's truth. Like that's truth. Why do you need to validation or some type of another individual's understanding of the song to validate what is true for you?
There is very many levels of the game, like Ramdas says. You could be at this side and look at it through this perspective, and then a couple hours later you can be on the other side, or maybe a level upper than where you were, and look at it from that perspective, and the entire game changes all the time. Like everything, your perspective, it's changing, and everything is changing, and it's going well with what Eastern texts are saying. It's almost like playing a game of hide and seek. Now you see me, now you don't. And you keep doing that. You keep looking for yourself. You keep going through those things, and you're getting a little glimpses, maybe a song, maybe a feeling, maybe something else comes up. And when you catch it, in you on that vibration, you're like, ah, and you don't have to say anything because it's complete and you're complete in that very moment. And then you have to come up and go down in the density so that you can have more fun and forget who you are. So you can go back and remember again. That's all I have to say.
Well, it's so interesting. Well, because if you think about our conversation last week with Gail Kraft, shout out to our beautiful friend, we were talking about ego and how I shared with you. So she and I were discussing whether or not you can transcend ego, and I fundamentally know you can, but ego is what allows us to have
Let,
the human
let me
experience. And
let me
so
stop you right there. Don't say I know you can, because you don't, do you?
fair point. From my understanding, and from what I understand, yes, in this human experience you can transcend ego. And yet, to transcend ego, like, the ego gives you the human experience. Like, that is the human experience. And to Radiviv's point, we are a culmination of the multiple experiences we've had since we've been a child into this current moment in time.
Okay. I want to share what Christ says because I'm a Christ consciousness person. And I would never have thought of this. It says, Christ said, in utero, we started to develop the ego. However, the ego was not to take us out and shoot somebody because we're so angry. The ego was about the intelligence to be able to know how to drive, to make decisions, to know what I should.
Yep. Somebody must really not want that message to come through right now.
I know the ego is like, excuse me, I still want to be in charge. Oh, she said, hello, I'm out. Oh,
There she
Okay,
there
is.
she is.
okay. So do you ever I know you felt it altered in a place where you've lost your thoughts, you don't know what, you don't know anything, you're just gone into that space that there's no mind.
Yes.
Have you ever had, you've had
Yeah.
that experience? Okay.
Yes.
Mhm.
Consider that is your essence. That's your soul. Consider now, I'm going to take it from that to the ego. The reason why we have the ego, we're not using it the right way. The, the ego is the mental place, the mindset to support um, the intuition and the heart space that we're getting, to put it down in words, in in a design of what we're doing, though, because of the second foundation. You remember I talk about the foundation of conditioning, and because of that, we get so mixed up with the belief state is, oh my God, I'm so afraid. Oh my God, as growing up, I didn't feel loved. Oh my God, whatever it is that happened to us growing up is still sticking there. And we start to use our beliefs from those fearful places to make
Yep.
to to create our life. And we are the ones who create our life. What do I mean by that? We are the ones who are feeling, oh my God, I don't feel good today. Oh my God, look what they did to me. You remember that, when I was a little kid, and it's on and on. And so, in a way, Kerry, you are right. We can bypass what we understand as the ego to use it is the most aligned way to say, okay, I'm going to buy this house. How do I feel about it? What's my feeling about stuff? So that's my little rendition about learning how to voice.
I love
Me
that.
too.
And for me, my ego is pretty chatty. It really, really likes to talk. But to your point, I always ask myself, am I coming from a place of love or fear? And if I have, so because I really am tapped into the energy that flows, like it goes through my spine, and it just kind of feels like an orgasm going through my spine. Like it just feels really freaking amazing. I know I'm in alignment. That's love. If I have a tightness right here, I'm in fear. And then I ask myself, okay, what do I need to do to come back to love? And then I take action. So I still constantly bump up against old fear based narratives, conditions, and habits, but I will not take action from that experience I'm having. I usually ask myself what I need to let it go. Sometimes I can let it go in a nanosecond. Sometimes it takes longer. This week has been really interesting and challenging for me to release those stories. But I always come back and I will not make a choice out of fear.
That's really good, Kerry, because not everybody is like you. To me, we're here to learn, grow, and evolve. And you have reached a certain stage of your evolution. Consider so many people who are not there. So you know when you need to get back to yourself and said, okay, I've just lost it. And I need to go back. There are many people who they
Hmm.
get stuck on the foundation of conditioning.
Oh,
And
for sure.
it's a
Well,
lot
so
of
it's interesting.
compassion.
I read some on some social media posts, right? And I'll be curious what you guys' perspective of this, because I was like, I don't know that I agree with this, but I don't know. Is that some people were placed here not to evolve, but to remind us what our experience will be if we don't evolve. And I'm like, well, that doesn't make sense, because we as consciousness are meant for expansion. So even though it may appear that an individual isn't evolving, I can't help but think, of course they are, because we're constantly expanding and growing. Like it is, it's like it's infinite. So what are you guys' thoughts on that?
Do you want to go first or do you want me to?
Well, you go, Yanko.
Okay. So I I'm starting to sense that myself, and some people already call that are doing the self work, like a non-playable character, like in a game. When you're in the game,
Mhm.
you have supporting characters like the background, but they're not playable character. They're just there to fill your reality, to be there waiting in the bus stop, and you're just passing. You're not interacting with them, or you interacting, and you're going to notice that the non-playable characters or npcs or whatever you want to call them, they come and go, and there's certain contracts that some come in to support you in a way to help you have the experience. So my understanding, everything it's prearranged ahead of time to kind of be your supporting buddy, like when you're down, somebody will come in, it'll be your best friend that'll help you bring you up, or those are more of the playable characters, but then everything else is just kind of like, there to fill it. And you're gonna start sensing it the more you're observing your surrounding and how you're reflecting out of you and what's coming back to you. You'll know what's not real and what's kind of real or semi-real, because there's different levels of the game again, like Ramdas saying. So that's my understanding.
I I understand. I That makes sense to me because again, my experience. So there was a man, a partner that I had, and he saw me in the health food store. Was very attracted to me, and I had another partner, and anyway, we needed to get together. On So consider that there's something above our minds, and we don't get it. We're supposed to connect, and we did, and it was hellish. Oh my God, it was difficult, and it lasted a couple years. And I moved to North Carolina, and Spirit told me I went through the dark night of my soul. Okay, all right.
Yep.
So one day I bought a house, and one day I was walking from the bathroom from the bedroom to the bathroom, and again, Spirit said, "We had agreed for, for him to push me to the depths." See, I went to the dark night of my soul. I felt it. I got to the bottom that I couldn't go any deeper with the pain that I was having. So that's one story. That's one thing. But I do agree that there are some people, they are not bad people. They just push the buttons in here that we need to open up and to clear out. And there's another kind I learned. Um, the fallen beings, or let's call them the fallen angels. I call it the fallen beings that has affected humanity generationally, not just one. We have been sitting on that foundation of the false light. And we have to get out of that with our own determination to say, I'm not that.
Mm.
I'm feeling this wretchedness. I'm not that. So please, every day, show me what I need to know. Just show me what I need to know. And believe me, when we call out for it, we'll get it. Because I know that we all have guides around us. Yeah, I know that.
I wanna touch upon that because you're 100% right, Radaviv. If we seek it, right, it says in so many scriptures, seek and you shall receive. Here's the reality though. Most people seek, but they want it to appear a certain way. We have this idea of what the information is going to consist of. And so we block the information. And the other part is a lot of people don't even ask the question. And this is the work I do with a lot of my clients. I'm like, your consciousness will tell you everything you need to know. You do not have to think. Our greatest addiction is to thinking. We think we're going to think our way into peace, to that still water that Jesus talks about, to love, that Christ consciousness. You do not think your way into anything, but you can ask the question and then just remain open to receiving. That I think is where the difficulty lies for a lot of people, because we instantaneously, and myself at times still to this day, still come back to this habit. And it really simply is a habit of trying to think our way into a solution rather than having it drop into you. And that is what I call spiritual sight and vision, is when you ask and then you let it go and you're driving along and then all of a sudden you're like, oh, and you just get it, and you couldn't have thought that understanding if you tried on your best day to think it through.
100%.
Is that's bypassing hope. That the word we started with hope. We bypass hope and really feel in our heart to trust. At least for me
Mm.
personally, when I trust, and I really deeply, deeply, deeply know this. That's why I live more in a state of peace. That there's something bigger than me, more than me. It's Christ-like. Whatever word we want to, that holds that place for me. And I know holds the place for all of us. It's about trusting and
Mhm.
knowing more than hoping.
I listen, I 100% agree. And when I surrender, again, I think about that phrase, I will lead you to still water, right? And it's not I'm going to take away the externals that are around you because you've created them, and that's part of the experience, but you just drop into that consciousness, and I mean, I know, because it's indescribable. It's just like, indescribable, as I said. But I think back, and again, I mean, here it is, right? It's a habit of thinking. This is a reality. Like, I get caught in this idea of thinking, but when I think of the experiences I had when I was thinking through everything, I needed to have that hope to get me to the place where I could trust. And I always go back to the quote in the Bible that says you need a what mustard grain size seed of faith. So it is a surrender, but it's also a hope that in that mustard size grain of faith that you'll get to a place where you'll have the experience that you've had out of Eve, I've had, and Yankov had, where we reach that still water and know.
How how how
Be
how
still and
how
know that I am
how
God.
can you not though, when you have that experience and you know beyond the shadow of your doubt that this is the truth for you, that this is truth for you, not for anybody else? How can you question it after that? How can you say that's not how it is when you lived it, you had that experience? It's not some kind of make believe that you make up in your mind. It's not something that you read in a book and you understood it and you said now I understand, because you don't, like the thinking mind, the understanding mind doesn't understand a lot of the things. But once you have that experience, then there's no need for hope. There's no need for anything. You are
100%.
that.
But
You
I
are that. There's not anybody can come in and say this and that, and you'd be like, okay, thanks. I know, because you had that experience.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I listen, I totally agree. I just also, again, until you've had that experience, you've got to hang on to something. Otherwise, it feels, I mean, to what Radaviv said, I swear I've been through the dark night of the soul more than once. I don't know that you do it one time. I think you get stripped down to the fundament. I mean, you sit in deep seated suffering and you rise up, and then because we're meant for expansion, you get stripped down into that seat of suffering again. And I think until I experienced that still water, it was hope that kept me going into this understanding of unconditional love. And where Radaviv says Christ consciousness, I know that all three of us, we know it's love. It's love. Science proves that it's love. Our vibration is higher when we're love. We're much more powerful when we're in that space of love rather than fear, which is a very dense energy. but hope got me there, baby. So when I'm working with somebody who's really struggling, I'm like, hold on, hope, because it will get better.
So,
It has to, as long as you
so
surrender.
Kerri, when you felt hope, what did it feel like for you when you said hope? And you know you were going through this difficult time, your hope. How did it feel?
I can't describe it because I still was suffering. So I mean, I don't know. It's not really it. I guess it's blind faith. Like there was a knowing without a try. Like I don't know. It's
Okay.
difficult to
Yeah,
describe.
okay. My sense, it's like putting on a blanket over you when you are cold. And the hope is like a feeling of comfort. Hope means it's taking you, although you're in pain, that's hope. It's where it comes from you, from within you to me, that's important. Not, I'm hoping, but
Yeah.
I'm hoping because it's an energy of comfort. That's how as we're here talking, that's how I felt. And there's an energy of, I'm really hoping, because somewhere in you, somewhere in people, in the unconscious, they know that there's more. They don't really know it. We all don't know it up here. But coming back to the the first foundation, take it from the bottom. And if we really all go all the way back to our innocence, what we're really crying out for is that existential connection to source.
a hundred
Because
percent.
that foundation of program and conditioning, I'm just feeling it now. So it was a separation. But we really don't know it here, but our soul knows that separation. You know, Yanko, when you woke up, whatever, I don't know the experience because I've always wanted to know what was your experience. But it's like a veil does fall off. And oh my God, where have I been? Okay.
Yeah, I felt like I was cheated through half the life. I felt like I felt like I should have known that sooner, and um, I felt like it's always been like that, but I was just too busy with other things to recognize it. I was
Not,
just it was just too busy going on and on like la 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 and la la land. That's what I felt.
no, I think I wouldn't say that you were too busy. I think you were following the program from that foundation.
I
You don't
think
get
so. I
trapped.
think so too. Maybe that's the thing. Lately, I've been thinking that I don't even know if I'm even the same me, because like me wasn't existing in the first place to be with, so I don't even know what me is anymore. So it's more of a just presence of just being and vibing with everything and tuning in, or recognizing the aliveness of everything around me. Like either a tree could be looking at me like I'm looking at it,
Exactly.
or something else could be like having that interaction. It's more of that.
I think what you're saying is you become much more unified in all that is.
Yes, yes. The
Beautiful.
best way I can describe it, it's like in the Hindu text, they talk about Shiva and Shakti, um, the all prevailing Shiva, that it's like there, and Shakti wanting to reunite with Shiva and go back to the oneness in and just kind of like, come on, come on, that invitation that comes in.
Beautiful.
It is
That's,
beautiful.
that's what we're all here for, moving into the oneness, really. And the oneness, as I'm speaking now, because I'm feeling when I speak, Kerry probably know that. And the oneness is about the oneness within first. You got to feel the alignment with the oneness here. And then, oh my God, you see it in everybody. You see it in the trees, like I'm looking out there now. The tree, you were as young, because trees looking back at me. This is divine.
And they
Life,
look different, like people. They look
life
different
is,
like people. Yeah.
no, life is good at that point.
I know.
Yes.
It is. It's a strange experience to. It's like if you walk down the street and you see a stranger and you say hello to that stranger and you smile and they smile back, and you can kind of feel that personality of the stranger. It's kind of the same as you walking down the street or in the park. You kind of look at the tree and the tree looks back at you, and you can sense the personality of the tree and how it's kind of like, oh, I'm glad you're here, and you feel the same way, and you go like, I'm glad I'm here too. So it's a wonderful experience.
What time do we end? I mean, this is so great.
So our show goes to 11 typically, but you can jump off whenever. You're just always
I,
welcome
I
to
just
join
love I
whenever you like.
yeah, I love the conversation, but I'm coming back now to my I want to say the mindset, which is called the ego. I have to. I had some major problems on my PayPal and even on my credit card. People, I want to tell you guys too. People got into my PayPal and charge things, and it comes out on my statement with my credit card, to the point where PayPal has locked down my thing. I'm locked out, so I have to go back there to take care of that. But what one of the PayPal person told me, so I really want to share it out because I didn't even know. Change your password every couple of months, because there are people now who are big, and I don't know where the heck they come from throughout the world, are able to get in and to do all kinds of stuff. So really want to tell you. And then in the next door here in North Carolina, wrote something out to say that they heard that in New York, I just saw that recently. Somebody, and they said it seems to be Russian people got into the bank. You know how you go there and get your money out through the little, what do you call it? Yes, that they were able to do that. I don't know how. So, but I'm just sharing these things with you, that it's very serious that we look at these things. We live in that world. We live in that world, and we have to be recognized, and to recognize that it's there, and how we manage ourselves in that world. Just, I laugh at it
I
because
love you guys. Thank you for coming. Feel free to jump. I mean, you're welcome any week you want to join. And for the listening audience, if you were inspired by anything Radaviv said, she has her book. Do you want to share the book again with the listening audience? The Divine Spark.
yes, it's awaken to inner peace in the midst of chaos. And you know
Love it.
what? I just want everybody to know, going through my healing, we are here to break the code of human conditioning. Not just me, all of us. To break the code of the human condition. And I got that when I was going through my deep healing. So I'm here to help people to get out of that old foundation, get back to the original foundation of innocence and spark, or divine spark.
I'm going to remind our listening audience that for those of the people that are listening the replay or on the go, that we're going to have that posted in the description of the videos, link to Radoviv's website where they can find more information about it, or look her up on, I believe you have your book in Amazon. Correct me if I'm wrong.
I have, yeah, I have, and I
Okay.
have it both in paperback and in audio.
Okay.
But I
So
love the paperback because in the paperback they can go to my website and listen to the freedom exploration, which will help to guide them out of the state of their beliefs and the personhood. They'll begin to open up to see the essence of their being. And so we're all here to break the code of the human conditioning. Love you guys.
I love it.
we love you too. It was nice vibing with you, Radovi.
Come
I
Yeah,
back
come back
know.
anytime.
anytime.
I wanted to be here, really. Okay. And Kerri, I didn't see you today. I mean, yesterday.
Yes, I know. I was
It's
busy. I
okay.
worked with 7
We'll
clients.
text. We'll text.
We'll connect.
Okay.
Yes,
How do I get or
we
leave?
will.
All I do.
There you go. Oh, wow. Yeah.
Woo! How do you so let's go back to something fun. I want to do I don't
Go
know
ahead.
what.
I'll give you a permission. Do something fun.
I got sunshine. I don't know the words. This
There you
is
go.
my life. I can do whatever I want. I can
You
feel
know, you know what comes to
just
mind?
like a buffoon. It's my life and I can do whatever I want.
I love it. I love it. You know, that bring up a memory of that episode of Family Guy. I don't know. You're probably not watching much TV nowadays. But there was kind of like old thing where Peter had this like a pig, and he had it on the top of the ceiling, and he goes like Spider Pig, Spider Pig. It does whatever Spider Pig does, you know, and then moving the pig like a spider. It was so silly and funny in the same way.
Well, yeah, I think, for me, my experience in this human experience is to experience joy. I tell people all the time, that's my choice. And it just feels so much lighter and more freeing that way. I love deep conversations, and I, like Radaviv, am highly introspective. But I also think that's why I ended up with a partner like Nana, because he will take me out of that introspection into joy in a nanosecond. He'll walk in the room dressed as some random character.
I know. I watched your show yesterday. Again, I was busy to jump in, and it was nice. He had his Pikachu costume with
Yep.
with the rest of the guys, and it was funny. And
Yeah.
it was
It was
just like
squibble, squiddle, squirb. I don't even know. But I really
I don't even know too, but I love it. You know, it's the vibe that they're bringing. You know, that high, fun, kind of like playful, joyful, like let's go, you know, kind of thing.
but I also think it goes back to that idea again that we're not meant to think ourselves into healing or understanding. We kind of just, to Radaviv's point, we ask the question and then just go about our lives, and we open to that deeper knowing without feeling the need to overthink it, without feeling the need to like drive understanding. And that's why I sit in joy. I mean, I have some of the most profound insights while I'm in joy, and I have the most profound suffering when I'm stuck in my ego trying to solve a problem.
Well, I quit solving problems. They usually solve on their own, and I just be. I mean, I'm still
You do
having
that 100% of your
no,
human
not
experience.
100%, not
I just
hundred
gonna
percent.
say I call
No, no,
bullshit. Because
no, no,
here's
no,
the
no,
thing.
no.
This is
In your point, it's right because like people that are listening and watching, they'll be like, "Whoa, this is like," but no. Um, I don't know how many percent it is because like I'm not, you know, kind of looking to find out because it's more of a gradual process of transitioning instead of like questioning everything. Like, are we there yet? Are we there yet? Like, are we there yet? You know what I mean? Kind of like sowing the seed, but then digging it up and looking at it and say, is this sprouty yet? You know?
100%.
So I'm more in the go. So I can really tell you how many percent of the time. But one thing I noticed that I'm starting to enjoy that more and more, and those windows are like expanding more and more, if that makes sense.
Well, that's the thing. I think that I, like you, I fundamentally know to surrender. Like I know. You said it earlier when Radaviv was on. I know peace. Oh my God, do I know it? It feels freaking amazing. I'm
Right?
just, ah, but I also can catch myself all the time in ego, all the time problem solving. And then I just come back to peace. And this week has been more of that awareness that I'm in ego, surrender. Awareness that I'm in. Some weeks I'm just zoned out. I'm just like everything, you know what I mean? And so I too get what you're saying. Like I don't know how often it is. Sometimes I feel like it's more than others. And it's just the experience I'm having. It's interesting because one of my pleasures, I love it, is to listen or read wholesome. Like I don't do trashy romance novels. I did at one point. Listen, I mean anybody who knows me and my other shows knows I love sex.
No, no, no judgment. We're all here to have the human
But no, so
experience. So,
I love like wholesome romance novels that are seeped in faith, some type of faith. And even in those romance novels, it has these trinkets of insight. And one of them was like, God took me through these years of just knowing, but right now God is just carrying me through my suffering. And I'm like, oh, that resonates with me because this week I seem to be vacillating a lot more. My energy's like, whoa, and I'm like, but I know I'm being carried. Like that is a fundamental truth, but it still feels icky, sticky, yucky
I
sometimes. And
know.
then I go back to the still water that Radavi was talking about.
Well, they have a word for that. They call it bhakti, like devotional
Bhakti.
love. Yeah, bhakti.
Oh, fuck
That
Bhakti.
I resonate with that a lot. Like the devotional love where you recognize yourself in everything, and you wanna like a if that's your other half, you want to make it happy. You want to support your other half in any way with devotion and love, and you keep giving. And some people use that path of bhakti to get to that state of like constant love and understanding and just beingness. But a lot of the times, like you said, if something comes up, I can say in that moment, like, how can I integrate that experience to make it more joyful in this moment?
Yeah.
Like it's kind of like but like how can I take it to the next level? Because there's like levels of like do you go like hey, or do you go like hey, or do you go like hey, or it depends on like which way, like how high you want to take it. And so that's how it is. And when you start, at least when I start doing that kind of stuff, I'm starting to see that things that, you know, took a little while before to get me back to that state of like inner peace. Now they're not even showing up anymore. It's just like inner peace, and whatever pushed my buttons before does not push my buttons anymore. It's just like I've been there, done that. So, hey, you know what I mean?
But
It
then
keeps
there's
on
other
going.
things that still push my buttons, and I just have to keep coming back to that, like surrender.
Yep.
And
Yep.
that's why I come back to joy. And my intention every day is to show up as love, be open to receiving and extending love, and to laugh often. And that's pretty, I mean, that's it. Because that is the experience I want to have every single day. And
And you
I've
can
gotten
take
to
it
that
in.
place from contrast.
You can take it a step further. You can do it in all dimensions of life, not only in your experience. You can be open to send and receive love in all dimensions of life, because there's other
Ooh, that's a
dimensions of
good
life.
one.
Yes, because like that was limiting for me before, and it's kind of like that. No expectations. I get up and I go like, okay, I'm love, and I radiate and receive love in all dimensions of life,
Yeah.
and then I continue on, and I don't have to question it. I just know it, and it just
Well,
happens.
you know, I do want to, I will say one thing that I know to be true. I healed a lot of my relationships when people died, like from this human experience. So I've healed a lot through multiple dimensions just by not feeling attached to this bodily experience with them, saying, oh, my grandfather died, so I can't, go through the process of forgiveness and stuff. And I think that's why I really have I mean, I don't hold a grudge. I love everybody. Like, I'm just like, meh, meh. But it's because I healed relationships that a lot of people would say seemingly cease to exist because the human experience of that spirit, that soul, whatever, is no longer here. But anyway, I digress. It is 10:58. Yanko, what would you like to leave the listening audience with on this beautiful Friday, May 2nd? Shout out, I'll be 45 this month.
I want to say be yourselves, be your authentic selves, listen to your inner voice, and just go on. Everything's going to be okay. And I keep saying that to people like, everything's going to be okay. You don't know it yet, but you're going to get there. So that's,
Everything is a bright light, and we are just, I don't even know. Okay, with that, I love you all. We're ending number 61. Radavid, thank you so much for showing up. Deep love and appreciation.
yep, same here. And I want to remind everyone just to, if you have any questions, send us a note, email, connect. We'll love to interact with you. Show up on our lives, message, chat with us, ask questions, or tell us your perspective. We would like to hear your perspective on things. We'd like to have some kind of chat going on. That'll be interesting. And who knows, we might even bring you live if you feel like being on camera. So that's it.